welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we are here with another recap of BMF. This is season 4, episode 7, titled Enemy Within. But before we get started, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and click that notification bell. All of those things help support our channel. To those of you who've already done it, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And continue showing love. Go ahead and invite your friends and family as well to hop on with the Spot Real Talk, because we got some good conversation going today with BMF. Things are definitely heating up. I mean, we are at episode 7 of the season, and it seems like more and more stuff just keeps happening. They never got a dull moment, do they?
No, they don't.
Yeah, so it's definitely a mess. You know, all of that fallout in St. Louis last week is still not over, because the Moors are real upset about their people getting hit. And they like, look, we hitting back.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you know, Meech is trying to have peace talks and they not trying to hear it. And, you know, who can blame them when your people getting shot up and you still got Jay Pusher ramping up? Like, he wasn't slowing down at all. He was ready for war too.
Oh,
That's what I
Jimmy.
say. How you gonna have peace talks when you don't have Pusher in line? Jay
Yeah.
Pusher.
Jimmy. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's a whole lot with that situation. And obviously Terry and Meech still have their feud going. It seems like, you know, who kind of addressed Terry and was like, you know, I see you stressing, it's visible. Terry was stress eating. And he was asking him about moving the hub back to either Detroit or Atlanta, you know, and, you know, trying to figure out what we're going to do about product, because we running dry. The money is getting low. Should we just hit Meech up and partner with him in St. Louis again? That was the wrong thing to say. You know, Terry ain't trying to hear that right now after him and Meech had that argument. So it seems like Terry's only resort is to gambling. That's what he thinks he knows how to do best. Which I was like, I said it like last week or 2 weeks ago. That is always a mistake. You don't gamble when you're in a tight spot, because when you lose, you really down and out.
But didn't I tell y'all about little boy? Little boy brought the federales there.
You was right, and that was true. I understand Terry has this empathetic side where he's like, we don't kill kids, we don't do stuff like that, but he don't understand that kids out there different.
Yeah,
And that's what Loco said. He was like, a
but
kid
he's still a
had murdered
kid
his
though.
people before.
I know he's still a kid. I mean, I'm all with Terry at that point, because if it were me, I mean, if he's gonna die, it won't be by my hand. Let me just
Listen,
put that
I
way.
have the same moral compass, so I understand.
Yeah,
Then we parents.
yeah, it won't be by my hand.
But I told you I knew that little boy was.
Yeah.
I said he was the lookout or whatever. He was working for the federales, and sure enough.
Sure enough. And they had to, you know, pull out all these guns and stuff to try to, you know, ward off the feds that were coming. We never got to see how that ended.
And I started to say, I wish I would have loved to have seen that shootout, because
I'm sure it's coming.
Well, I'd like to see it because, you know,
they back home, so
I know they're back home.
They get it out.
Yeah, if they
Right.
could do a flashback on that, I would love to see it, or maybe the intro. But you know, and it was sad that we couldn't see it. Well, not sad, but I was a little disappointed that they didn't show us at least a few shots fired, because I really wanted to see how Terry would handle. Because you know, Terry was sitting back looking like, I don't know what
but he was shooting too. He was.
No, I mean, he had a gun, but I'm just saying that look on his face. Like, for instance, Meech was like, he's all the way down. Harry was like, what the hell did I get myself into?
And I think that's why there's even more increased tension, because of what Loco said. And Meech kind of rolled with Loco, and then now they see the federales, and now he distrusts T even more now, because he's like, I can't trust your discernment or none of that, and that's why he's not treating them like an equal.
Yeah, and I think like as we get more and more pieces to what happened in Mexico, we're seeing why their rift is so huge right now. And it's not helpful for their business situation, because, you know, Terry needs product that he doesn't have. His people are eventually going to start complaining.
Mm-hmm.
And then meanwhile, Meech has Jay Pusher after him. I mean, Jay Pusher straight up told his boys, bring me Meech dead or alive. And so it doesn't help to have those scenarios going and you can't team up with somebody that you can trust. You know, at least if Terry and Meech have nothing else, hopefully they have the family trust intact in the time of need.
Well, remember my mantra: by any means necessary, and we saw any means come to play.
Yeah, I mean, it had to happen. I think that with this whole situation, because Jay Pusha ended up going after the Moors yet again, and this time hitting the women. It was
Hmm.
like, you know, he shot Kia's sister intentionally, you
Yeah,
know, and he also got two more of the guys from the Moors, and so it's kind of like he really is just adding insult to injury at this point. He is somebody who earned his death.
yes, he did.
He's a cancer, and he had to go.
Yep, that
Mm-hmm.
tumor had to go. And you know, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you check the truck, you see that there aren't any drugs in there, and you're insistent on there being something there that's not there. I understand his anger because you know he thought he was going to grab something, but that didn't work out. Didn't work. It didn't work that way. But shooting the sisters of the Moors,
Mm-hmm.
and
After
then
they and she told him it was a donation facility, he was insistent that it wasn't.
yeah, he's the one I'm so glad to see gone.
Well, he even said himself he was grimy, and you see, he had no moral code.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, none.
especially you with Kia, because her thing was she was talking with her sister beforehand. Her sister was telling her, "I know you got this loyalty because you feel like he was there for you after dad died or whatever, but he is not somebody you can trust, and he's not anybody that you should lend your loyalty to."
Exactly.
And sure enough, you know, Kia goes in there with the intent to shoot Jay Pusher, but ultimately, she's the bond that they have is what stops her from shooting him. Meanwhile, he takes the gun from her and is getting ready to shoot her head off.
You see, he had no problems with the bond. You see,
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. There is no bond with him, and you know, and Meech told her, you know, this isn't something you just lightly walk into, and you know, we assume she might, you know, take care of business, but it's a horrible, it's not a good thing to point a gun at somebody and then think you're going to pull the trigger. No,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not it's not a good feeling. So you either got to know that you got that in you, or don't even bother.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when we talk about family ties, I mean, to have Jay Pusher's own brother be the one that took him out,
By any means necessary, and
I
that's what it
mean,
means. By any means necessary, and the means was your own brother.
mm-hmm.
He knew he
And
was a cancer. Like he held because of him, he lost his baseball career in the hand. He was ready to take out Kia, whose family, he was causing all these problems. He had to go.
hey, I'm not mad at him. I look, I was 3 feet in the air when I saw it. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm talking about.
Right, we just
Yeah,
gotta
but
figure out what we gonna say to mom.
Yeah.
Like
that's the
how
part.
we gonna spin this to mom?
Oh, it's not even a spin, Ma. You know what he was up to. So he got caught. He got. I mean, that's all I can say. You
Yeah, I
know,
mean,
she ain't gonna ask no questions. He
he
just
did seem a
got
little like it was going to be heavy on him though. He seemed like
Oh
it
yeah,
caused him a lot of
pain.
grief over the fact that he did
it's
that. So
still
I
his
don't
brother.
know if he
Yeah,
gonna take it
Yeah.
that lightly.
Well, I mean, look, get over it because, you know, who knows, man. I mean, he would have killed, you know, old girl. He would have killed, tried to kill Meech, and maybe even his own brother. I mean, he wasn't too
Mhm.
short on that. So look, it's, it's that's the rule. That's the rule of the streets. That's how it works.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks like Meech was able to broker a deal with the Moors, and he has Kia in place as his lead in St. Louis now. So, you know, the Moors seemed like they were questioning female leadership. So
Mhm.
we'll see how they deal with Kia. But hopefully, because Kia has her sister with the inside ties to the Moors, maybe that relationship will work itself out. But you know, Loco also comes to town
Hmm.
and he lets Meech know about, you know, first of all, his plans to expand to California, which I was like, okay, now they headed to the West Coast. So we supposedly have what, three more episodes left? How they gonna do all that in 3 episodes?
Yeah.
Talking about expanding to Cali.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, it's gonna be another expansion, and it won't be Cali.
Yeah, or it might be
season 8.
there's gonna be some time
I mean,
jump.
season 5.
If they are finishing it this season and it's kaput, then it's gonna be a time jump.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
'cause that's
big
a lot of
one.
wrap. That's a lot of wrap up for the next 3 episodes. You said
Yeah,
that's a lot of
yeah.
wrap up.
But Loco also mentioned that he has beef with a rival gang, which he is saying that he's leaning on Meech for some backup, and Meech supports him. But I was like, you just got finished with a war. Don't be, ramping up to deal with another one. I understand that he has this tie to Loco, and Loco is kind of, making moves for him, making sure that he's aware of stuff going on behind the scenes. Like they have a real tight bond. But I was like, I don't know. He talking about cartels now, not just no
Right,
gangs.
Yeah,
right,
that's
ruthless,
that's a whole nother animal. But look, you're either gonna be Gandhi or you're gonna be what you are. You can't. I think he's beginning to see you can't do both. You can't be both. I mean, I'm not. Look, I'm all about peace, and bodies do make trouble in the streets. I got it, but you dealing with some ruthless people, and
Yeah,
if you hadn't, I mean, if old Jimmy didn't take that bullet, you might have got one from Jimmy.
Yeah.
So I, man, peace is okay only when peace is available.
hmm Yeah. So that situation definitely. I don't know what's gonna come of that, but they gotta, stay out of the mix. I think it's best to lay low and mind your business on that one.
Word.
Now with Terry and his situation, we kind of lightly touched on his gambling. He also ends up in Atlanta to go to this, big high roller gambling party. And, he brings Markeisha along with him after she was able to talk him off, off the ledge of leaving her or whatnot. Supposedly, Boom has been, locked out the house. They changed the locks. They got their head on the swivel watching out for him. But so far, he's laying low. And Markeisha was able to talk her way back into Terry's bed. Ron, I already know.
that he's whipped. I told y'all he's whipped. Listen,
Boy, sun driving.
When Markeisha showed up at the baby shower, I was like, that is bold.
Yeah.
I was like, she should have been showed the door immediately.
A long time.
She had man balls. I mean, I come on.
Those cojones are huge.
Huge.
Grande.
Yeah. I mean, she the little bathroom scene was okay, but I still don't like you. I appreciate the scene, but I just don't like you.
Yeah, and it's crazy how Terry was just there at the house, giving LaWanda the keys and security codes to the safe and whatnot.
That's how he found out, though. When he said, put the money in the card and stuff, all that. And I said, but that was not an invitation. You're not family. With me and Terry family, like, how dare you? I'm like, she is asking. She definitely deserved a hand. She is asking for some hand.
How dare Terry? I mean, the moment she said that, I'm like, wait, girl, we ain't family. You need to
escort her out, but he should have checked her for coming through. There's no reason why. Like, there's a reason why she thinks that she can do what she's doing. Exactly. And Terry should be putting his foot down. Like you don't come over unless you are invited. Like clearly she knows she got him where she wants him, and she feels like she can do whatever she wants. There's no reason any other brother would have been like,
and never mind the history there.
She wouldn't even have known about the baby shower as far as I was concerned.
Right. So, but he was talking to LaWanda. And he didn't expect, I guess he didn't expect her to just show up.
Right.
And stuff. But
I could see too if it was at like a community center somewhere public where you might just drop something, but it's at their home and at their parents' home on top of that. And they already are aware that you were the cause of the breakup between Terry and LaWanda. So why would you have the audacity to just show up unannounced?
I don't even care if it was at the community center. You were not invited. You don't show up. If you have a gift, she could have given the gift to Terry.
Yeah.
To her, give this to Nicole or whatever. you don't show up unless you're invited.
That's facts.
I love what Charles said. Oh, here we go. He's like,
Charles is the peacemaker though. He
yeah,
always like he saved Nicole from getting her butt whooped from Lucille. And then when he saw that, like he like once he saw the party was about to be ruined, he
Yeah.
like grabbed them, start putting music on, dance. Like he totally saved the
Yeah.
party.
he
Because
did.
Yeah.
everybody else fell in line, started dancing after he did. So I was like, so he definitely gets a game ball for me for
Yeah.
that. Because he said, because I know I don't know. I'm big on family and
Yeah.
stuff. And if she had come, I don't know, I might have taken one for the team. I might have had to slide her on.
Look, I
I,
hear
I
you.
I might have to give him the hands with that chicken dance he was doing. I don't know what it
Oh,
was.
I know, I know, I know. But
But you
I
know,
think
yeah, I'm
he just
good.
was trying to
Yeah,
Lighten
light
the
the
mood.
mood.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
good. It was good.
But
I agree.
like that, Terry really does need to get a hold on Markeisha because she still is a problem, even in Atlanta. Like I guess she calls herself trying to be helpful by, she meets the girl Chantel at the gambling party, and they kind of warm up. Chantel was flirting hard. I mean,
Whew.
she
Mm-mm.
all but invited her into the bed.
Yeah, they're swingers.
But
Yeah,
like, and she was down with that, or at
she
least
was,
appearance.
or at least on the surface, she
On the
was
surface, she was.
because
I think it was a means
probing for
plan.
info.
It might
Yeah,
have
yeah.
been,
I think she'll do anything.
but see that right there, stop and put a period right there. This is why, my boy Terry, you in bigger trouble than you think you are. Because I'm gonna tell you,
Exactly.
if she were to get everything that she wants from Terry, you'd
Hmm.
probably just as soon leave him or take him out. I just don't trust anything she would do.
Listen, I feel like this. Like Terry was worried about his moral compass being in Mexico with Meech and Loco, as he should have been. But he got to worry about his moral compass with her because
Exactly.
she doesn't seem to have one.
Well, she
Yeah,
doesn't.
because if you'll snake your own husband and do all the things behind his back that you doing kind of shicey stuff on the side, in terms of other people. I mean, she straight up just gave the Tank. He had that gambling feud with Terry where he wasn't trying to pay up. He gave Tank's address over
Oh
to,
yeah,
yeah, she gave it to
She
Terry, and
did.
so it was like, she does a lot of stuff on the side that's like, okay, it's helpful in the moment, but if the tables were turned and you were my enemy, you could easily cross me. And just by being, a good, I guess, be careful about the big button to smile.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just that alone seems to get her all sorts of information that she should not be privy to.
And I'm giving T the hands just on this one factor alone. When she's, up there talking about marriage is just a piece of paper. Man, you should have come back with, if it's just a piece of paper, tear it up and get your butt a divorce. If
Yeah.
you
Exactly,
so much about me,
exactly.
get a
She got
divorce.
him. Oh,
But you
he is
can't
so
you couldn't even bring those words to your mouth. So as far as
Mm-mm.
I'm concerned, whatever she get from him,
Hmm.
I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. So ultimately, Terry is in gambling debt though, after that whole situation at the party. Now, I'm giving Terry the hands for what he did next because he calls up Nicole, pregnant Nicole,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
lying and trafficking, bringing money, large amounts of money, thinking nobody's going to stop her because she is pregnant, and risking her freedom and her safety like that,
Yeah.
all because of his gambling debts, and then doing it under the guise of doing him a favor. She has no idea what she's doing.
Not just him.
Not
He
just
said
him.
him and
And
Meech.
Meech.
So he lied
Right.
on Meech. And Meech had no idea she was coming. And he was doing it to pay his gambling debt because he knew she would not have come otherwise. Meech is the favorite brother. And
Yep.
Mhm.
that's why he threw Meech's name in it because she wouldn't
Yeah.
have done it otherwise.
I agree.
Yeah.
And if, he,
Terry was foul for that.
and if
He
she
was.
had gone to jail because of that, I don't know what Meech would have done
He
with her.
already been to jail because of the brothers.
I
Right.
know, but I mean like that
I
right
know what
there.
I'm saying.
Yeah. But she's a smart little whip though. I mean, the way she came out with that little plan, she took well advantage of what she had in front of her, and it
Yeah.
seemed to work. But yeah, I don't know where Terry's head at, man. Well, I do know where his
I
head
was
is.
going to say, you
Where
don't
it's
know
at.
where his head at?
Yeah.
You
No,
keep saying,
no, I
watch
had
the
a,
bathroom scene.
I I had a recent laugh.
That's what they say.
Yeah,
You know, and she's an older woman, so she got him right where she wanted him.
true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy because Terry is so blinded by Markeisha and whatever she got going on, he will do almost anything, that she says or to please her. It's like you gotta put, like you said, to put your foot down, and he needs to understand how that her presence affects a lot of his relationships because he's not seeing how the family don't really rock with her like that. Nicole, the Meech, nobody really rocks with her. So it's like her presence, everybody sees it but you. So if everybody else is saying it, eventually you got to open your eyes and be like, what is it that they trying to show me that I'm not seeing for myself?
He ain't
Right.
thinking with his eyes, you know. He's not thinking with his eyes, and
It's that
and
other brain.
it's the other brain, yeah. And the thing is, that relationship is a huge part of why he and Meech aren't cool
Right.
because
Mm-hmm.
she's been in his ear about you should be doing this, you should be treating him like equal, you should be the boss, all this stuff. A lot of that stuff started with her.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the thing Terry does too is he tries to throw money at problems a lot of the time because we seen him do it with his parents, of course, trying to just give them money to keep them off his back, but also he did it with Nicole this week where he gave her, he sent a large chunk of money for the baby shower, and he reminded her that when he was leaving the house in Atlanta, he was like, yeah, I sent money for you. And Nicole was like, what money? She obviously didn't know. But let's talk about Lucille now.
I say she didn't get the money.
Y'all go ahead, because you know me
Go,
and
go
that
ahead,
woman.
Ron, because I know you're
Oh
ready to
my
light him
God, that little snake in the grass. I mean, Lucille, really? First of all, first of all, you turn your back on your ex-husband when you found that envelope because you didn't want him to see, which means you were going to keep it away from him at all means.
up. She
If
was
that
keeping it
wasn't
for
bad enough, if that wasn't bad enough, you gonna take Nikki's money and you
Well,
got all whippity, you all happy and everything. And oh, Charles, it's wonderful that you're gonna go work with your sons. And she's all smiles and everything. Charles should have woke up and said, "What's going on?
mm-mm.
What? Some don't smell right down here. What's going on?" I,
look, Pastor Lucille. Pastor Lucille was
yeah,
really cutting up this episode.
Yeah, she was. I to be fair, Lucille got a lot on her plate.
She
She
does.
got the church board down her neck. They got some nerve talking about her
About tithing.
tithes.
please.
I was like, oh, so y'all ready to kick her off the board over tithing?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we all know. Well, don't let me get there. Don't want to start there. I don't know
Oh
who's listening, so I
wow.
better
I
be
was like,
careful.
wow, y'all pressured her to take that
Take it
position.
right.
They were like, we need you to start this weekend and everything. And then now you're like, you want her you want to kick her off because she's not tithing or
And it would
tithing the way you want her to.
and it would have been okay if they had dealt with it from a domestic, aspect, where she's obviously having trouble at home, yada yada yada, and maybe you need to take care of home before you become a pastor. I got that, but you threw money in her face, and well, I could go to the Bible with y'all, but I'm not. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Y'all just read your Bible. Anyway, start with Corinthians. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
No, I mean I get your point though because they were dead wrong for that. Pressuring her into the position and then demanding that she pay. And I did start to wonder, were they? Uh, I'm pretty sure the whole town knows about Terry and Meech, and
They
what
do.
they're involved in.
They
So I
do.
wonder if their
Yeah.
decision was based on like, oh, she got these sons that got some money. She should have a little something, something to throw to the church.
You know,
Mm.
But that hasn't revealed itself so far. So I don't know what the church's motivation was to bring her on, but whatever you're tithing, that's between you and God. So
that's
how
what I
about
Right.
thought.
that?
That's
Right.
what I thought.
Right.
Oh, but
Yeah.
that is as real as it gets, and I'm not mentioning any churches, but I know that story very well, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but outside of Lucille and this money situation, she was cutting up a little bit with cousin Estelle.
Estelle and her
advice, yes, telling her to go back down to the welfare office and try again. This time, get a male employee and flirt with him a little bit. And that's exactly what she does. Lucille went against, her moral compass. She put on her little top that showed a little cleavage. She was out there, shimmying out of her jacket and whatnot.
Yep. Said I'm Ms. Flannery, not Miss.
Made sure to let them know that she is no longer Mrs. and that, her ex-husband is no longer living with her. And so I was like, okay, Lucille is really, walking the line.
Which is a lie. Because has Charles left?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's gone yet.
He hadn't even told her that he had plans to go back to Atlanta and help Terry and Meech yet. So that happened before that conversation went down. So I'm like, she really did lie and say that Charles was out the house.
And then got a nerve to get old Bob.
Bob, right.
Got Bob.
The battery operated boyfriend.
I mean, and we're not talking about Bob's furniture. We're talking about Bob.
Right. And she seemed like she had some hesitancy because she looked at it and she threw it to the side. Oh Lord, but I see she ain't throwing it in the trash.
Look where it happened to be. So hey, but you know what? Hey, if Bob gonna take care of you.
Lucille, man. She definitely be cutting up.
She one of them new age pastors.
Dude, Bob been around. Yeah. That's been on the low.
Right. Yeah, but as far as Lucille is concerned, she was dead wrong for that. But I was glad to see her, and it seemed like it worked in her benefit that she was showing Charles support on him, wanting to get back involved with music from the perspective of working with Terry and Meech. And I was like, she did seem very supportive, very cheerful when he told her, like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a stab at this thing. But it was beneficial because she needs him out the house.
She needs him out the house, right.
And she needed him, right. And she needed him out the way for that moment because she wanted to count that money. So that's what that was all about.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Yep.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, but thinking of Charles though, I am really glad that he is on the up and up. It seemed like at first they were still worried. I think the opening scene, Nicole seen him in the kitchen with a knife, and he had to explain why he had the knife and all kind of stuff. So they were still a little concerned. But Terry gave him a haircut. They've been supporting him. They've been showing him love, and it seemed like the end of this episode, he's showing semblance of himself and being, motivated and happy to do stuff again. So I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, the only concern I have, we got Purdy. I think you called it Tiff.
Yeah,
she's on the on the list and can't seem to get her habit together. And so basically, what do you do when Charles gets down there because your number one is out, on a drug issue, and she's going to be in a rehab center for any.
Well, she left the rehab center,
but she's got to go back because she's either going to go back or they're going to find her OD dead
again.
Yeah, that's too much, and that's going to cause additional friction with T because T already is like, and we didn't sink all this money into this thing. We're not recouping that money, and then we're chasing behind her like she got shot. Now she OD'd and stuff, and having to deal with her contract and all this other stuff. That's part of the reason why they had money issues too, because they had to put all that money to buy her out of her contract.
Yeah,
and here they are having to run behind her because of her habit. And I'm like, I hate to sound insensitive because again, that's a disease, but she's a liability.
Yeah. Absolutely. Agreed. And not only that, it's like with Purdy, they tried to get her, well, at least, the girl Tina, she tried to get her to help. But how do you help somebody that doesn't want to be helped? Because when Meech went to the rehab facility, they told him she wasn't there. So it's like, and listening to Purdy talk, she was saying, well, Trell, he used to let me take the drugs so I can get back into my creative juices, whatever she needed to help her write. I'm like, did you not just see how Trell dogged you out? You think he had your best interest at heart when he was allowing you to take those drugs for
it's a crutch purposes? It's a crutch. She went from one abusive relationship to another because he was able to control her. That's how he's able to control her through the drugs and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm like, girl, if you see that he was detrimental to you and not only your health but your career, why are you still trying to follow the precedent that he set for you? Like, here you have people that are in your corner trying to support you, trying to see you be successful, and you're self-sabotaging. So if they are providing you with help and a means to recovery, then you need to take it seriously. I hope that there's a future conversation there where they
I
can
hope
help
so.
her see the light.
But it's hard for people to kick that habit. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Now
you
she
can
has a
talk to
habit.
her until they're blue in the face. But if she doesn't get the help she needs and kick
Mhm.
that habit, nothing they say or do will be able to help her.
And
Yeah.
actually, the fact that she left the rehab center will let you know that
Exactly. That
she's
she
not
ain't
up for
ready.
any kind of rehab.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so it
And I
looks
don't. I
so
was gonna say, not only did she leave the rehab, but she missed a recording session. Like, that's money down the drain.
well, yeah.
Listen, that's think about all the artists from the past, shoot, Billie Holiday, Gil Scott Heron, a lot of folks who had those habits and stuff. That's what happened. They
Yeah.
missed shows,
Mm-hmm.
that whatever. They missed engagements because they were a slave to the habit.
But at least they
Yeah.
became great and
Uh-huh.
was a slave to the habit. She's like,
You just
you
starting
know,
out.
you
Right.
just starting out and you already then, damaged your career, who knows how much. And the fact she can't get over getting shot, which, I can understand that. I've never been shot, but I can imagine that's a hard thing to get over. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
she's got a lot of problems to deal with, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not certain if she's the right person for now. You got to put her on the bench and see if you can't call
Right.
Mm-hmm.
somebody else up
Right.
because
Right.
there's
She
not
might
one.
not be the.
She ain't the one right now.
Right. Yeah. And it was interesting too hearing Tina talk about her situation too, because she said that she found out she was pregnant, but she is so much into the life that she don't want to have the baby at this point in time. And I was like, wow, that's something. I never heard
She was like,
nobody,
I don't want to bring the baby into this.
Yeah.
but
I
it's
don't want to
like,
bring.
get out.
Yeah,
Well,
but she
she
wants
wants
that.
the
She said,
life.
I want to be in her life, and
Right.
Yeah.
that's funny because I thought about Ron because Ron was like, you was thinking that Lawanda was gonna put that bug in Nicole's ear and stuff, and I was like, Nicole gonna have that baby because her moral compass. So
Mm-hmm.
the person we least expected, who we didn't have on our big old
Right.
card, Tina, said,
Yeah.
look, hold my beer. I'm
Right.
I'm gonna be the one to go to the abortion clinic.
Yeah, that's crazy. She sounds insane talking about she would give up a child to stay in the drug dealing lifestyle. It's
Uh,
just that's something I'll never understand. But to
listen,
each their
listen,
own, I guess.
listen. No, no, I don't either. But I, we talked about this in the shy. We were talking about some people don't want to be mothers. I think a lot of times people assume that all women are maternal and want to have children, and it's not true. Not all women want to have children
Well,
Yeah.
be responsible
or
then.
be
You gotta
responsible
get your
for them. Yeah.
plan B, get your birth control, whatever
It,
you gotta do.
Well, Marquisha is right in there too. So, when you talk about the other show, Marquisha is the same. She's
look
the
at
same.
you.
Hey, I mean, but I love what was her name? Tina.
Tina.
I love
Uh-huh.
what Tina told Purdy. She said, I when she snatched the drugs and Purdy jumped at her, she said, I am too hormonal for you to just
Yeah,
stop me. I'm like,
he was gonna lay Purdy out.
I said,
Yeah.
okay. And that's when I said, okay, she must be pregnant.
When she said
Yeah.
that, that's how I knew too. I was like, oh, she pregnant.
Yeah, so that was interesting. I wonder, she ended up going to the clinic and there were people outside protesting and whatnot. I'm like, I'm wondering why they decided to include that portion in the show. Maybe that's going to be a part of the storyline coming up later on.
Well, but something too, this was big at that time, anyways. And it still is. I mean, you still have people in
Hmm.
protesting in those clinics. So I got it. I like it. But um,
I also think they showed it. They had that part to show Meech's compassion. Like if
Hmm.
you showed it, the differences between Meech and Terry with the crew. And not saying that Terry doesn't have compassion stuff too, but he is more like hard nosed and like you said, T, like he throws money at the problem, where Meech is like
real compassionate.
he's compassionate. He treats his people like family and stuff. And he was like, I'm gonna go with you and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that scene was also to demonstrate like Meech's.
Yeah. And it also was like Tina was saying, I thought that you were going to be real judgmental given your upbringing. And, he was saying, what I believe is what I believe, basically, but you my people, so I support you.
No judgment.
So it's kind of it's real different between like how judgy and we see Lucille and sometimes Terry coming down on Nicole and stuff, but we see Meech being the one that's more understanding. So I understand from that perspective why, like you said, they put that scene in there to show how Meech's compassion is kind of leading him in a lot of these situations.
So what do you think about Nikki telling the people, folks at the party, that she's going to name the baby after
Meech?
What y'all think about that?
I think she did in real life.
I mean, because her little boyfriend,
he looked like
he was looking like
he wasn't happy about that at all.
Well,
and I don't
think they discussed it, and I think that was another thing. I think he felt blindsided. Like she announced at the party, and she made a decision, not them together. It's their baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it seemed like that situation is really on shaky ground because Breeze's mom was there, and Nicole was saying how she was going to do community college and work while she was pregnant up until the point that she had the baby. And she was looking at Breeze like, "Oh, are you going? I hope you're not planning on leaving Clark." And he's like, "No." So he's going to continue to go to school while Nikki is doing her thing.
But he said he was going to take a couple semesters off. And
that's why I was like, this is going to be a problem because that mom is going to be interfering here.
Yep.
She's going to feel like, now your life has been derailed and stuff.
Because we know what it means. A lot of people, when they say I'm going to take a semester or two off, they don't return.
Go back, yeah. And what I'm hoping for Nicole too, because she's saying she's deferring her scholarship until after the baby. But I'm like, I hope that opportunity is still available to her and that nothing changes that interferes with her being able to return to her original plan.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's rough. But outside of that, I think that Nicole has a lot of complicated feelings, and she was saying that she really hopes she has a boy because she was like, if I have a girl, I don't want the relationship to be like me and my mom. And I was like, that's deep. Like the fact that she really, really wants a boy to avoid that type of bond with her child. I was like, that Lucille has done some damage to her that she don't even.
Yes, she has.
I think though her upbringing would serve she and her daughter much better because of the fact that the elements that can destroy a mother-daughter relationship, and you just have to make sure you don't step in those same holes. Like for instance, being open, being honest, but understanding too. Lucille forgot all about where she came from and how she got there, and that's not something that children are smart, so you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth and expect to be heard. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. So I that part of the show kind of like, dang, that sucks for Nicole. I know she's been through a lot with that family and their judgment and their double standards. And I'm like, yeah, she's definitely a fighter to have made it through all of that.
But the other concern I would have too is if she had a girl, will she love the child? I mean, she's so dead set on having a boy. Suppose it is a girl. What then?
I don't think she would. I think
she'd probably come around, but she would probably make it a point to not repeat a lot of the stuff that Lucille
I would hope
did.
So. And that to me is that if you understand that, then that's half your battle right there.
Yeah, just wait until she find out Lucille took that money.
Whoa.
Let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I can't
that's
wait.
Gonna be crazy.
I can't wait.
And
then maybe
I'm like, wow,
I can't wait till one of them meet Bob. I mean, take the money. You gotta.
Mama gotta have a life too, huh?
Mama gotta have a life too. Shoot.
Okay, you and Bob.
Well, the last thing on the agenda for the show to talk about is Bryant, because he is camping out his car. He's watching this dude that he's seen in the picture, from the picture that was given to him or whatnot. And he's following him around and kind of sees that he's staying out with the grandma. He's like, nobody stays with their grandma
That long.
that long unless it's something important up in there. So, he starts doing his digging, and he ends up telling the other officer, Hardy, he's trying to see if he can get him a search warrant. And Hardy, eventually comes through, and they go up in there, bust in and grab the boy. And unlike Duffy, this boy is singing.
2 minutes. Give me a pen.
Well, I mean, he couldn't see his grandma, who probably had nothing to do with it. She probably didn't even know the drugs were there, and so she's gonna do time in the Bing, and perhaps
I think he was bluffing.
He was bluffing.
He was bluffing. I think he should have told Meech. They could have got Granny a lawyer.
I think he was bluffing, but at the same time, the question of, look, can you prove that she didn't know? And the question is, why didn't she know? And you know how courts are.
Well, can you prove that she did know?
Well, you can't, but I think right therein lies your problem. The fact that it can't be proven one way or the other.
Exactly.
And she's black, and they don't really care that much about black folk in the first place. So they just soon throw her in the Bing for a couple of years at least, just for not knowing.
I'm not saying you don't throw Granny under the bus. You stand,
Well,
but I'd have had a lawyer. I'd have been like, I don't.
But the law says ignorance is no defense. So if that's the case,
that depends on the state. I'm like, Granny, I didn't know. Granny's 80 years old.
No,
Granny didn't know. As far as I know, my grandson is coming to visit me and stuff. They would have to prove.
Yep.
The laws say you don't. That's it. You have to make them prove it.
Yeah, and there's also such a thing as circumstantial evidence, and then we know a lot of black folk.
But still, you still have to
circumstantial evidence, not evidence. So my point is, they throw black people in jail just because you sneeze, you go to jail.
Yeah, they do. But I'm just saying, but you do have to. You have to make them prove it. You have to make them prove that it belonged to you. So I'd have been like, no.
It's just like the Diddy case, and I don't want to go off too far, but they threw the book at Diddy, and of course, the jury didn't see it that way. Largely, I think it was because it's Diddy. It would have been interesting. It would have been somebody else, but I just think when you can get so big in certain communities.
I think they didn't. I don't think they really understood the racketeering charge, but
No, but
we don't want to get too far over that.
I don't want to go too far there. And I just say that if it were, the boy's young, he probably didn't know anything about the law. And he was looking after his grandmother. I can't necessarily knock him for that. Yeah, and like you said, but let me say something about Bryant. And I've been talking about Bryant for a while now. Bryant is extremely strategic.
He is. He's a good detective.
That's what I've been trying to tell y'all.
Nobody said he's not a good.
We didn't say that. We said he was doing the most. We said he was obsessed.
But you see what happens though? When look, like I said, when he's a hound dog, and you can't take him off that scent until he gets what he wants. And he may be doing too much. He may be whatever, but as we can see, it pays off. He is a detective by any means necessary. He's a detective.
Even if it means breaking the law and going to another jurisdiction.
Or trying to put grandma behind bars.
Yeah. He's petty and stuff. But I said, and I got a attorney for grandma. I'm like, grandma don't
if they got money for that, because
what do you mean? He's working for Meech. He got money.
Well, that money ain't gonna be good for anything.
He's part of Meech's crew.
But once
Meech would have given her the money for the lawyer.
Well, hopefully. I mean, because you confiscate.
He would have given the money for the lawyer.
But
he would have rather that than him snitch.
That boy, we already see he's
exactly. But I'm saying he would have been like, anyway.
It's gonna be interesting to see what becomes of this boy now that he has snitched, and I wonder what kind of information he gave up. Because I was trying to look and see what he was writing on that pad. Because some people act like they playing in, and then they'll write some nonsense on the pad or something like that. So I was like, oh no, he really ratting.
I,
Yeah. 2 minutes.
He
He
was
was like,
really
give
ratting.
me a pen. You got a
yeah,
pen? I'm like,
he was ready. But
he is
again,
no Duffy. He is
again,
Right,
no Duffy.
right.
but
So
you
I'm
know,
just
Duffy wasn't. Look, Duffy's dad was already in jail, and I'm hard pressed to think that if Duffy's mother or grandmother would have been, now Duffy.
Duffy was
But
gonna
then again,
stand tall.
I started to say, but Duffy is a little old. Seems like he's a little older than this young man, and he may have, stood on 10. But it's just interesting when they pull that up on you, and what do you do? I mean, that it is a hard pill to swallow to
It
think to
is.
even
It
think
is.
that your mother or your grandmother could possibly do a bid all because of you.
it is. I mean, I'm not saying that I mean, if given the situation, because you got to know that you have to accept the consequences for whatever your actions are. So if you bring your drugs up in grandma's house, you got to accept the fact that you could implicate her.
Exactly.
And he can't blame nobody but himself for this.
Absolutely.
Boom. Boom.
Absolutely.
So that's
I-
that on that.
exactly.
Exactly.
That's
um,
why.
Exactly.
That's why he had that give me the pin itch.
yeah, and that's why when
Exactly.
Meech find out, he gonna have another problem coming.
Whole nother itch entirely, but
Yeah. So
Mm.
we'll see how that fares. But
yeah,
I thought the voiceover at the end was interesting because, they were talking about how Meech was being so focused on beefing with Terry and whatnot that he can't see the enemy he created. And I'm like, when they were speaking of Bryant, the enemy he created. And I'm like, yeah, because as far as they know, they don't think he has anything. They think that they threw him off their trail by giving that fake name at the dealership and everything,
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
knowing that he actually has something solid now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the infighting is going to be the downfall because they're not paying attention to the outside threats.
that's
Mm-hmm.
true. That is true.
But this was a good episode. I did enjoy all of what went down. I know that there are several people that we got lined up for our list. So we kind of talked about who can get the hands. I know, Ron, number one, your longest running, probably for this show, person who can get the hands, Markeisha.
Yeah, yep. She deserves it. She deserves it. The way she came up in that party, she absolutely deserves it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now
Number
y'all
two.
giving Lucille the hands, number two.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
that.
She
You
she
know that.
deserved it too. Stealing the money and stuff like, yeah, yeah. She gotta get it. She gotta get it this time. Mm-mm.
And I ain't trying to female bash, but dang, y'all got some rough females up in this camp. So they gotta go. They gotta go. They get the hand.
I am gonna put Jay Pusher. He got the
Oh,
hands.
Jay
He
Pusher,
got the bullet.
for sure, he deserved the hands. He deserved what he got.
Right. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
He
Yeah,
earned that.
he was
Yeah.
definitely deserving.
Yeah. He can RIH.
Right. And which H you talking about? Up or
Hell.
down?
Hell. Rest in hell.
Yes, that's what I thought he was saying.
He said we going up or we going down?
He going down fast. Elevator ride.
You still gonna say R.I.P.?
No, I don't want. No, no. I don't
Rest
want
in
him to.
piss. Rest in
Oh,
piss.
oh yeah. No, he's already. Well, he's probably doing that now because he's releasing himself. But
Yeah, yeah,
outside of that, he can go down.
yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else that you guys want to give the hand to? I kind of want to give Terry. Yeah, Terry gets the
Oh
hands
yeah, Terry.
for
Yeah, yeah.
lying to
You're bringing
Nicole.
Nicole. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're
And
putting
can't
Nicole in that situation. He
and
deserves that.
and
Yeah.
can't
And
seem to
also being a simp for Markeisha.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Right there, right there.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to do this. I'm gonna just give her a pluck, Purdy,
Cool.
because I
No, she
understand she has
deserves a
an
pluck.
addiction. She has an addiction. I get
She
it, but
does.
also, girl, you got to get it together.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
deserves a pluck.
She does deserve a pluck. She does.
Okay.
She does.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to her. Now for the game ball, who are we giving the game ball to this week? I know y'all mentioned Charles earlier for
I did
saving the
because
baby shower.
yeah, I felt like he lightened the mood and stuff. I feel like he for sure, and Jimmy for taking Pusha out.
That's who I was gonna say.
Oh, yeah, Jimmy or Carter? What's his name?
I mean Carter.
Carter.
Carter. You're
Yeah.
right, Carter.
Okay. I can. Yeah, definitely, because he took care of that. I want to give Nikki the game ball, even though you were doing something very nefarious, but you didn't know, or at least you thought you were helping out your brothers, and you were game for doing that. So I'm gonna give you the game ball for that. Turned out though, it was, Terry doing his thing, but I'll give you the game ball for that.
I'm not mad at that.
Speaking of that, I gotta say the way I hollered watching Loco, watching the argument,
right.
I was hollering because he was just like he had his team. He was like, "Ooh,
I got the best seat in the house."
He said,
Yeah.
Man, the way he was watching had me dying.
I laughed at that.
I also thought it was interesting too that he offered to make Nicole tea too, because I'm like, okay, he's sitting up here being accommodating and whatnot. That's a side of him we really haven't seen either. So
because he said that he and Meech are like brothers for life. So he see Nicole, that's his sister. You see, she's pregnant. So I was like, I thought that was really nice of him to offer to make her tea, especially because after arguing, like T arguing with his sister, she pregnant,
Yeah, it's some nonsense going down. But I was like, oh, that's surprising to see Loco helping her out and being friendly to her or whatnot. So that was refreshing to see. But I'm thinking for this episode, I really enjoyed it, but it's also kind of opening up the thought of how many things can go down from here, because like you said, you still got Bryant on their tail. We didn't see B Mickey this week, but he snaked them bad.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to see how that plays out. And then this whole thing with this young boy who gave up all this info on Meech. I'm wondering what kind of info and is that going to reveal itself next week? So it's a lot of stuff going down. The family is kind of discombobulated right now. Everybody seemingly has an issue with the other person in the family. Nobody wins when the family feuds.
Exactly. And Lamar is still a threat.
Yeah.
But I think Lamar is gonna, be after Meech and all them, but I think B Mickey gonna pay a price.
Yeah. So it's like, oh wow, we got 3 episodes left. Like I said, how are they gonna wrap this up in that time frame? What are we gonna get, in terms of storyline and where they leave us? It's all up in the air for me. I can't even call it because I'm still wondering how they're gonna condense all of this timeline into 3 episodes, but we'll see if we get an announcement sooner or later.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
So yeah, I enjoyed this one. To all the viewers out there, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and hit that notification bell. Please also follow us on all of our social media platforms at The Spot Real Talk. And we are on every platform that you can possibly think of, so you'll find us there. Please also make sure you drop down in the comments. Give us your thoughts on this episode, as well as any predictions that you might have for the remaining 3 of the season. Tiff, Ron, y'all got anything else you want to add?
One more thing. The other day I had the pleasure of representing for The Spot on Monique Nicole's YouTube channel. She had her own little round table, BMF round table, and she interviewed Terry Allen, the actor that plays Duffy. So it was me and a few other content creators, Brillo Reviews and Pretty Girl Loves Trap Content, and Shayna. So check that out. It's on YouTube. Check out her channel and check out the interview with Duffy. He's real cool, solid. He's a good actor, and I had fun.
Okay, and it's Monique Nicole on YouTube.
We've had her on the channel. She's going to join us for our roundtable. Look.
Yeah, I was trying to add the tag so people know what to search for and go find that interview. Okay, well, that is awesome. Looking forward to watching that. To all the viewers, thank you again. Please continue to show us love and support. Continue to invite your friends and family to join us as well. And I think we are going to call it a night. So until next time, stay black.
Please.
Peace.
Peace.
Moving like a dog, running around without a leash. demise.